It all started as an ordinary night with four friends just hanging out, joking around, and searching for something to pass the time. In the corner of the garage, half buried under boxes and dust, they stumbled upon an old, rusty radio, its dial cracked, its speakers covered in cobwebs. Out of curiosity, they twisted the knob, flipping through waves of static until, strangely, a faint signal emerged. But here's the eerie part. The frequency only came alive at exactly 3:15 a.m. That night, a distorted voice whispered through the static, warning of a bus accident on 7th Street. The friends laughed it off as nonsense until the next morning's news reported the exact same tragedy, down to the street and time. Night after night, the friends gathered around the radio, unable to resist its haunting pull. Each broadcast grew darker, more precise, and each time the predictions came true, a house fire across town, a car crash on the highway, even a sudden blackout that swept through the city. The room itself seemed to react whenever the signal came on, lights flickering, shadows stretching unnaturally across the walls, and the static carrying faint whispers that didn't sound human. Fear began to divide them. Some insisted it had to be an elaborate hoax, while others swore the voice was real, a warning they couldn't ignore. Arguments flared, trust cracked, and yet none of them could stop tuning in. Sleep became impossible. Every night at 3:15, they sat wide-eyed in the dark, waiting for the signal, waiting for the next disaster, waiting for the voice. But then came the night that changed everything. The static crackled louder than usual, the signal cutting in and out as if the station itself was struggling to push through. The friends leaned closer, expecting another vague warning about some accident in the city. Instead, the voice grew sharper, colder, almost human. "Tomorrow," it whispered, "the fire will claim 3 lives. Alex, Sarah, David." The names rang through the room like knives. They froze, their faces pale, no one daring to breathe. The speakers screeched with distorted noise, voices overlapping in a maddening chorus, as if dozens of people were whispering at once. The lights flickered violently, plunging them in and out of darkness. For the first time, the radio wasn't predicting strangers' fates, it was counting down to their own. Panic took over. In desperation, they yanked the radio's cord from the wall and smashed it against the concrete floor, pieces scattering across the garage. For a brief moment, there was silence, then the speakers hissed back to life, glowing with an unnatural light. The voice returned, no longer distant, but booming, mocking. "You can't escape the signal." Laughter, distorted and inhuman, filled the room as the lights above them flickered violently, surging brighter and darker like a heartbeat. Suddenly, the air grew heavy, a sharp static charge crawling over their skin. One friend screamed as their voice was swallowed by the static, the sound cutting off mid-cry. When the light steadied again, their seat was empty. Only the others remained, trembling, staring at the radio that refused to die. So, what do you think? Could a radio station like this really exist? One that whispers the future through static and shadows? And more importantly, what would you do if one night you tuned in and suddenly heard your own name being called? Let me know your thoughts and theories in the comments below. I'm going to be reading them all. And if you enjoyed this story, get ready, because in the next episode I'll be diving into another chilling mystery, the Locked Room live stream. Trust me, you won't want to miss it.